This is the L2C Media Network. And look, we're still alive. Take that winter storm and stick it, baby. This is the Sports Final. Brought to you by the L2C Media Network and William Hill Sportsbook. Let's make it interesting. Speaking of interesting, here's a man that hasn't quite figured out what that word means. Steve, the Baxman Baxter. I know the meaning of a lot of words. I just don't know the meaning of the word supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Evening all, welcome to another spine-tingling manic Monday premature ejaculation of sports final program. I never thought we'd go that way, but hey, there are times when we do. Yes, I know I am wearing the uniform, the Tiger shirt. Why? Because baseball, oh my God, do you realize we are about 2 weeks away from hearing that wonderful phrase, pitchers and catchers? Spring training? Ooh la la bassoon, que passe. So hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I sure did. We continue to make strides in making this livable. This weekend, helped a friend of mine put the tarp up on the roof. We still got one more piece of tarp to put on. I'm just hoping tomorrow is a saner day, because last night we had some winds, but the tarp stuck. The tarp stayed. Yes. So what else is new? Not a lot, but glad we're here. Glad you're here with us as we begin our journey into maybe about 45 minutes of a good show. In fact, we've gone about 2 minutes and 2 minutes 30 seconds into our monologue. That's something new. And now, let's get to it. Let's do some sports for you. We got some headlines. And we got some scores and everything else therein. By the way, we are dedicating this broadcast to the memory of Dustin Diamond, who passed away earlier this afternoon due to stage 4 lung cancer. Cancer sucks and should be eliminated from the face of the earth. Let's go with some headlines. Let's make things pleasant. Let's do it for Screech. Yes, for the second year in a row, the Green Bay Packers came just one game away from the Super Bowl, while their 31-26 loss to Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC Championship was certainly not how Green Bay wanted to end the season. Things got even trickier during the post-game press conference when star QB Aaron Rodgers told reporters that his future was uncertain. Rodgers put together an MVP campaign in 2020 as he completed a career-high 70.7% of his passes for 4,299 yards, 48 touchdowns, and threw just 5 interceptions. The Pack went 13-3 and won the NFC North for the second straight season, but now all of a sudden it appears Rodgers could potentially be looking to prove a point to the Packers. What happened? A former teammate of his believes that Rodgers is plenty upset still with the team and wants to make them pay. Former Packers offensive lineman T.J. Lang, who apparently is close with Rodgers, joined WXYT, not a 7-1, the ticket on Monday, and said he believes Rodgers is hell-bent on some revenge towards ownership. I don't know who owns the Packers. From what I understand, The Packers fans. This I'm not certain. Lang said via radio.com, I think it was quietly pissed when they took Jordan Love a year ago. One thing I'll say about Aaron Rodgers, pretty much the last 10 years of his career, he's wanted that team to just go all in for 1 year. Just give me some pieces. Let's just go all in. Let's trade a few first. If we have to get a couple of guys, let's just go all in and try to win this thing. And then last year, he hinted at them doing that. Hey, I'm excited. Let's see who they can bring in. And they bring in a quarterback. I think that was the ultimate slap in the face when you feel like you're one piece away from winning the whole thing. Now, while the Packers should have been in win mode or win now mode, some of the moves they made this past offseason reflected quite the opposite. As Lang pointed out, the Packers used their first round pick on a quarterback, which was definitely a position they did not need an upgrade at. The other position group that didn't require a high draft pick was running back, but the Packers their second selection on running back A.J. Dillon out of Boston College. Many fans were screaming for Green Bay to take a chance on a wide receiver in what was thought to be one of the deepest drafts in recent memory when it came to talented wideouts. Even with their last two picks in the seventh round, the Packers opted not to draft a receiver. Packers could also have taken a shot on someone like Antonio Brown or traded for another key offensive piece, but it was not meant to be. Oh. Now, Rodgers is under contract with Green Bay through 2023, but now that he's 37 and the Packers have been unable to get over the hump to get back to the big game, the future Hall of Famer could be looking to have more control about what the Packers do in the front office. Lang said on the radio show, on a radio station, I think he's going to make him pay. I think he's going to want some sort of new deal where they guarantee a couple more years for him, security-wise, being in Green Bay. I don't think he wants to go anywhere, but I think he's going to hold their feet to the fire and say, hey, if you're going to keep me around, A, you're going to have to pay me, and B, you're going to have to bring in some players that I want to play with where we can take this next step. Now, the Packers have been one of the NFL's elite teams over the past couple of years, and Rodgers wants at least one more Super Bowl victory to add to his impressive resume. Lang hypothesizes that Rodgers' mysterious quote after Green Bay's last loss signals that he will want the franchise to start doing things more his way. At least one team has reportedly reached out to the Packers about maybe acquiring Rodgers, but the front office was having none of it. Rodgers appears to be looking for a change. But that doesn't mean wearing a different uniform. It's going to be an interesting offseason in Green Bay. Can we find out who does own the Green Bay Packers? Guys, can we do that? Please, can we do that? Hey, we're getting that information right now because I'm interested in knowing who does own the Green Bay Packers. Well, I'll be damned. Green Bay Packers are the only publicly owned franchise in the National Football League. Rather than being the property of an individual, partnership, or corporate entity, they are held as of 2016 by 360,760 stockholders of the Green Bay Packer Foundation. I did not know that. Where do we get this info from? Yeah. Green Bay Packers, Inc. is the official name of the publicly held nonprofit corporation that owns Green Bay Packer football franchise of the NFL. The Packers are the only publicly owned franchise in the National Football League. Rather than being the property of an individual, partnership, or corporate entity, they are held as of 2016 by 360,760 stockholders. No one is allowed to hold more than 200,000 shares, which represents approximately 4% of the 5,011,558 shares currently outstanding. It is this broad-based community support nonprofit structure which has kept the team in Green Bay for over a century, in spite of being the smallest market in all of North American professional sports. Green Bay is the only team with this public form of ownership structure in the NFL, grandfathered when the NFL's current ownership policy stipulating a maximum of 32 owners per team, with one holding a minimum 30% stake, was established in the 80s. As a publicly held nonprofit, remember that key phrase, nonprofit, the Packers are also the only American Major League sports franchise to release its financial balance sheet every year. The Green Bay Packers Board of Directors is the organization that serves as the owner of record for the Packers of the NFL. They've been a publicly owned nonprofit corporation since August 18th, 1923. The corporation currently has 360,760 stockholders who own 5,011,558 shares of stock after the last stock sale of 2011 to 2013. There have been 5 stock sales in 1923, 1935, 1950, and 1997 and 2011. Shares in 1923 sold for $5 a piece, approximately $75 in 2020 money stuff. While in 97, they were sold at $300 each, and in 2011, $250 each. Now, the NFL does not allow corporate ownership of clubs, requiring every club to be wholly owned by either a single owner or a small group of owners, one who must hold a 1/3 stake in the team. The Packers are granted an exemption to that rule, as they've been a publicly owned corporation since before the rule was in place. Now, a corporation is governed by a 7-member executive committee elected from among the board of directors. The committee directs corporate management, approves major capital expenditures, establishes board policy, and monitors performance of management in conducting the business and affairs of the corporation. The elected president, who is currently Mark H. Murphy, represents the corporation at NFL owners' meetings and other league functions. The president is the only officer who receives compensation. The balance of the committee sits gratis. At the time of his passage, Green Bay Press-Gazette publisher Michael Gage was said to be the largest shareholder of the team. Now, even though it is referred to as common stock in corporate offering documents, a share of Packers stock does not share the same rights traditionally associated with common or preferred stock. It does not include an equity interest, does not pay dividends, cannot be traded, and has no protection under securities law. It also confers no season ticket purchasing privileges. Shareholders receive nothing more than voting rights, an invitation to the corporation's annual meeting, and an opportunity to purchase exclusive shareholder-only merch. Now, shares cannot be resold except back to the team for a fraction of the original price, while new shares can be given as gifts. Transfers are technically allowed only between immediate family members once ownership has been established. There has been, in the history of the Packers organization, 5 stock issues: 1923, 1935, 1950, 1997, 98, 2011. And that is crazy, man. That's crazy, just reading this. Which means, by the way, only one person, I do believe the president of the organization, is the lone person that can trade or fire a person. Of course, they have to vote on it, I guess. But man, that is, I'm going to say it, that is wild. Yes, that is wild stuff, man. Can you imagine all that? Okay. I mean, I'm going to state this. Be glad we're on the air here. We read you that. Okay, let's keep going. I got some baseball news, more NFL news, and everything else. Ah, boy, doesn't get better. Doesn't get better for the Mets, or at least for former Mets manager, now the current Angels pitching coach, Mickey Callaway. He has been accused by at least 5 different women in sports media of lewd and inappropriate behavior, according to Katie Strang and Brittany Girodley of The Athletic. The allegations stretch back to Callaway's time as pitching coach for the Indians and also his time with the Mets and Angels. Giroli and Strang wrote the following, we bring you quotes, or quote. Mickey Callaway, the former New York Mets manager and current pitch coach for the LA Angels, aggressively pursued at least 5 women who work in sports media, sending 3 of them inappropriate photographs and asking one to send nude photos in return. He sent them unsolicited electronic messages and regularly commented on their appearance in a manner that made them uncomfortable. In one instance, he thrust his crotch near the face of a reporter as she interviewed him. In another, he told one of the women that if she got drunk with him, he'd share information about the Mets. Yeah. Hey, would you like to meet Mr. Met personally? Not the mascot I'm talking about. Well, wink, wink. Callaway, now 45, responded to The Athletic via email. This was his response. Quote, rather than rush to respond to these general allegations of which I have just been made aware, I look forward to an opportunity to provide more specific responses. Any relationship in which I was engaged has been consensual, and my conduct was in no way intended to be disrespectful to any woman involved. I am married, and my wife has been made aware of these general allegations. Now, Giroli and Strang's story includes interviews with all 5 women who have accused Callaway of inappropriate behavior and details of the allegations, as well as responses from the Mets and Angels who say they will investigate this. Callaway allegations come not long after the Mets fired general manager Jared Porter following revelations that he sent explicit unsolicited text messages, including a lewd image, to a female reporter. Callaway managed the Mets from 2018 and 2019 before being fired in early October of 2019. Callaway's tenure as Mets manager ended prior to Steve Cohen's purchase of the team. Callaway was named Angels pitching coach under manager Joe Maddon prior to the 2020 season. He served as the Indians pitching coach from 2013 to 2017. Wow. Would have thought we'd have some steam here on this broadcast, but we do. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go to the NBA, and then we'll start doing some scores and everything else. So if you're ready, I'm ready. It looks like LeBron James has not had the pleasant interactions with people in the stands this season. Gee, I wonder why. Anywho's, LeBron James and the Lakers are rolling through the league this season. They entered Monday's game against the Atlanta Hawks with a 15-6 record, including a 4-2 mark on their current 7-game road trip. They have become especially adept at disappointing road fans. Through 13 road games, the Lakers have an 11-2 record. And though the Atlanta Hawks made things interesting during Monday's game, the Lakers controlled their battle throughout. That apparently didn't sit well with an Atlanta fan sitting courtside who got into an altercation with LeBron James and was ejected from the game by security. Lakers broadcaster Bill McDonald even jokingly compared the moment to the meme of a Desperate Housewife cast member pointing at an indifferent cat. As James revealed after the game, the argument was between him and the woman's husband, and he did not think they should be ejected from the game. Now, this is not the first incident that James had with a spectator during this road trip. In a victory over the Cleveland Cavaliers last week, James missed a shot at the end of the third quarter and was unhappy with how Cleveland executive reacted. He responded by scoring 26 points in the fourth quarter. The Lakers ultimately escaped with a victory, giving them 12 road wins on the year and sending them home for 10 of their next 15 games. Hopefully, it'll be a little while before LeBron gets into it with another road fan with such a long stint in Los Angeles ahead. Wow. Now, what do? Simple. Let's take a break from the headlines and get you some scores. And we start off with the all-powerful NBA. And by the way, all the scores on our scoreboard are sponsored by William Hill. Look, let's make it interesting. As we draw close to the Super Bowl, there will be major picks being made, including prop bets and everything else. You name it, William Hill Sportsbook will do it. Download the app and let's make it interesting at William Hill Sportsbook. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-270-7177, 800-270-7177. And with that, let's give you all the scores. As we mentioned, the Los Angeles Lakers beat the Atlanta Hawks 107-99. In overtime, the Charlotte Hornets over the Miami Heat 129-121. Sacramento Kings over the New Orleans Pelicans 118-109. Cleveland Cavaliers back on the winning ways. They beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 100-98. Chicago Bulls also won against the New York Knicks 110-102. The Rockets' red glare is back burning in the heavens. They beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 136-100. Milwaukee Bucks over the Portland Trail Blazers 134-106. Phoenix Suns over the Dallas Mavericks 109-108. Memphis Grizzlies defeated the San Antonio Spurs 133-102. Pistons of Detroit and the Denver Nuggets were postponed. There you go on that route. Let's take you on to college hoops, both men and women. And I know last night we were in a rush and we didn't get to do the women's scores, and I do apologize for that. But we're here. I wish I knew where my cat was. Cat somewhere. Let's go forth and get you the NCAA men's list. By the way, that Pistons Nuggets postponement, it was done minutes before tip-off. Wow. That was interesting. All right, let's get going and let's rock and ride. As we wait a few moments. And we'll get the basketball scoreboard popped up and let you know without a doubt that, yes, friends, I'm trying to adjust the mic here to a friendly wave here. Okay, I think we're ready. Yes, we are. Okay. 13th ranked Texas Tech over 9th-ranked Oklahoma, 57-52. 25th-ranked Drake, a 95-60 winner over Illinois State. Oregon and 21th-ranked UCLA, well, they were postponed. They were. I'm not kidding. They were. Yes, they were. Don't we have any other scores, or are those it? I think those were it. Wow. Yep. Okay. Excusez-moi, mon ami. Okay, let's go to the women of the NC Double Alpha. And we forgot the ladies last night due to, unfortunately, time constraint. So we are going to hit the light fantastical. No, guys, come on. Okay, let's get to the women, get to the ladies, and get scores there, and then the scores of the NHL, and then we'll get to the top 25 and everything else that are in. Okay, here are the scores. Very light college scoreboard. Let's give you all the finals that we got here. 4th-ranked North Carolina State is 74-60 winner over number 1 ranked Louisville. Number 22 Northwestern is 69, ring the bell. 57 winner over 11th ranked Ohio State. 24th ranked Mississippi State and Vanderbilt was canceled. 13th ranked Michigan and Rutgers were postponed. And there you go. Happy landings on a chocolate star. Okay, it is 12:03 in the AM. Welcome now to a Tuesday. Groundhog Day, which means that day that the groundhog is reportedly going to see his shadow. I wonder if his shadow is going to ask for double pay. But let's tell you what's coming up on the Rakita Law Network here on YouTube. And it's going to be another interesting show. He had one this afternoon, which was totally wild. That's right, I did tell you. It's totally wild. And we go and tell you that earlier today, about 3 hours ago, we had Sargon of Akkad joining to talk politics, culture, and everything else. And tonight, live right now, as a matter of fact, a series of unfortunate DMs, part 2. Wow. If you thought last night was wild, tonight is even going to be wilder. So join the humble Minnesota attorney Nick Rakita and all of his friends on Lost Blaming the Interwebs. They're about 5 minutes into it, and it's only on Rakita Law Channel here on YouTube. That's going to be something to see, I'll tell you that much. Okay, let's get back and finish up our scoreboard, finish up everything, including little pretext. And everything else. We got about 2 more headlines, and we'll see what media bites are going on, and then we'll wrap it up as we continue forth. By the way, the AHL, I do believe minor league hockey starts next week. So finally, we're getting some good sports. And I think we can mention it next week, next Monday. is the night or the day that TV6 will unveil their new look as they celebrate a delayed celebration of their 70th anniversary, which was to be celebrated last year, but due to COVID, they couldn't do a celebration. So please join us tomorrow night, not tomorrow night, but next Monday night at 11:35, when our monologue is going to be all about Channel 6. There you go. All right, let's get you some NHL scores whilst we feast along the merry highway that is the merry highway. And we finally got our Molson 3-star selections for most of the place, so let's get to it. Boston Bruins beat the Washington Capitals 5-3. Pastrnak for Boston with 2 goals. Carlo for Boston with a goal and an assist. And Vrana for Washington with 2 assists. And once again, Bruins over the Capitals 5-3. Montreal Canadiens beat up on the Vancouver Canucks 6-2. Petrie for Montreal, 2 goals and an assist. Suzuki for Montreal, 1 goal, 1 assist. And Lekkinen for Montreal, 1 goal, 1 assist. Tampa Bay Lightning, Stanley Cup defending champs, defeated the Nashville Predators 5-2. McDonough for Tampa Bay is one of the 3 stars. Grudra for Tampa Bay, 2 goals, and Vasilevsky for Tampa Bay, 26 saves. Let's keep going. New York Rangers over the Pittsburgh Penguins, 3-1. Shesterkin for Rangers, 26 saves. Panarin for Rangers, 1 goal, 2 assists, and Fox for Rangers, 1 assist. Calgary Flames doused the Winnipeg Jets in a shootout 4-3. Connor for Winnipeg, 2 goals. Tanev for Calgary, 1 goal, and Wheeler for Winnipeg, 3 assists. Golden Knights and the San Jose Sharks were postponed due to COVID, and that is your National Hockey League scoreboard. Yay! All right, let's keep going with the headlines. And the biggest headline is now official. The Major League Baseball Players Association rejected the proposal from Major League Baseball for a delayed 154-game 2021 season and expanded playoffs. Major League Baseball announced then the season will start on time. Let's roll them out. The Major League Baseball Players Association rejected a proposal for Major League Baseball to shorten the 2021 season to 154 games. MLB recently proposed the changes and offered to pay the players for the usual 162 games in exchange for an expanded 2020 postseason. Now, in response to the union's rejection, Major League Baseball now says the 2021 season will start on time and as planned. The union released the following statement on Monday night. It reads in full. Quote, late last week, the Major League Baseball Players Association for the first time this offseason received a proposal from baseball to delay spring training and opening day by approximately 1 month. Now, under the proposal, the end of the season would be delayed 1 week. The regular season would be shortened to 154 games, and all 30 teams would be required to play several doubleheaders. Players would also be required to accept previously rejected proposals that link expanded playoffs with expansion of designated hitter. Now, although the players' salaries would not be initially prorated to a 154-game regular season, MLB's proposal offers no salary or service time protections in the event of further delays, interruptions, or cancellation of the season. Major League Baseball Players Association Executive Board and player leadership reviewed and discussed the owner's proposal throughout the weekend. And today, clear cut result of these deliberations that the players will not accept Major League Baseball's proposal will however, instead continue preparations for an on-time start to the 2021 season and will accept MLB's commitment to again direct its clubs to prepare for an on-time start. We did not make the decision lightly. Players know firsthand the efforts that were required to complete the abbreviated 2020 season. We appreciate that significant challenges lie ahead. We look forward to promptly finalizing enhanced health and safety protocols to help players and clubs meet those challenges. Major League Baseball subsequently responded with its own statement. Quote, on the advice of medical experts, we propose a 1-month delay to the start of spring training in the regular season to better protect the health and safety of players and support staff. A delay of the season would allow for the level of COVID-19 infection rates to decrease and add additional time for the distribution of vaccinations, as well as minimizing the potential disruptions to the 21 season that currently face all sports. The offer included the regular season on April 29th and playing a 154 game schedule that would pay players in full, as if playing 162 games. We also proposed 2 changes from the 2020 season that were overwhelmingly popular with the fans. For this season only, featuring a modified expanded postseason, 7 teams per league, and of course the universal designated hitter rule. It was a good deal that reflected the best interests of everyone involved in the sport by merely moving the calendar of the season back 1 month for health and safety reasons without impacting any rights either the players or the clubs currently have under the basic agreement or uniform players contract for pay and service time. In light of the MLBPA rejection of our proposal and their refusal to counter, we are moving forward and instructing all of our clubs to reopen or to report for on-time start to spring training and the championship season, subject to reaching an agreement on health and safety protocols. Our 2020 season taught us that when the nation faces crisis, the national game is as important as ever, and there is nothing better than playing ball. We were able to complete the 2020 season through Hercules handcuffs from Herculean efforts to sacrifices made by our players, club staff, and Major League Baseball staff to protect one another. We will do so again together as we work towards playing another safe and entertaining season in 2021. Now, according to the Athletics' Ken Rosenthal, a number of players believe it is too late in the offseason to revise the schedule, which explains in part the reasoning behind the union's rejection. The 2 sides could revisit the idea of expanded playoffs and the universal DH, but the union remains opposed to the idea of expanded playoffs, according to Rosenthal. All right, we are going to take a slight break, be back with more of the same, including, of course, what's been happening in the realm of the media. Stay tuned, we're back after this. Eat your dessert. Okay. Get back here. All right. Okay. Yeah, it's 17 minutes. That's the hour of midnight. Steve the Baxman Baxley with you for another few moments of prehysterical insanity, otherwise known as Sports Final. And what is sports? Without a little media word, as we go into the world of the media with our media bites, courtesy of awfulannouncing.com. And let's go to our first story. New York Rangers president John Davidson's statements on Tony D'Angelo's free speech and fan blog, Blue Shirt Banter, leave some questions, and we're going to get you those questions. And, oh boy, not exactly good things either. On many levels, you expect New York Rangers president John Davidson to be one of the most media-savvy team presidents in the NHL. Davidson's decades working in media, between regional color commentary for MSG, national color commentary for Fox, ABC, NBC, ESPN, CBC, and more, and co-authorship of the book Hockey for Dummies, which suggests that he has some idea of how the media would work. But Davidson's public comments after the team's decision to move on from defenseman Tony D'Angelo, who remains on their taxi squad after clearing waivers, following a confrontation with teammate Alexander Grigoriev Saturday, but is not expected to ever play for them again, appears to indicate that he doesn't have the greatest handle on the current media environment. Rather than discuss why the team is moving on from D'Angelo, playing with the cat, who had previously been under plenty of fire, including with 2 OHL suspensions for slurs toward teammates and an abuse of an official and an NHL suspension for going after an official, Davidson decided to present an inaccurate picture of Blue Shirt Banter. Blue Shirt Banter is the SB Nation's Ranger site that led the way on much of the recent D'Angelo reporting, especially with Adam Herman's piece Sunday discussing other reports of the D'Angelo Gorgiev allocation and adding reports from multiple sources on internal concerns over D'Angelo's treatment of teammate K'Andre Miller, who is black. And D'Angelo has created plenty of other recent controversies, including with a potential burner account on Twitter. Herman had a strong reputation as a Rangers reporter, and most of what's in that piece has not been specifically pushed back on, but rather than engage with those claims on their merits, Davidson decided to try and shrug it off as something from a fan site, claim it was 2% false, as portrayed in comments relayed by ESPN's Greg Wyshynski. And you read those things on Awful Announcing. So read them at your own volition. awfulannouncing.com. You can read those stories. Yes, we're taking headlines from media thusly. Patrick Reed immediately put the new CBS golf rules expert to the test, and I think the new kid did good. That's right. Let's go for an explanation, shall we? It's not a fun way to start your gig, but the expert in question, current PGA Tour official Ken Tackett, didn't exactly rise to the occasion either, providing no real pushback to Reed's accusations and assertions. Tackett is part of the broadcast coverage now, thanks to CBS making some changes to their presentation. It makes sense on the surface. Golf has very few very intricate rules. And they've certainly come up often in recent years. Tackett himself was part of Bryson DeChambeau's meltdown last summer, a clip that played as Jim Nantz introduced Tackett to the coverage. Ooh. Minutes later, tournament leader Patrick Reed hit a shot from a fairway bunker that bounced once before ending up in the rough. When cameras next saw Reed, he was kneeling over the spot his ball had ended up, asking for an official for a ruling on whether or not it had embedded in the very thick rough that he clearly didn't want to hit from. Reed, of course, is perhaps best known for his very flexible relationship with the rules, having been caught on camera cheating last winter, along with a long history of shady to downright abhorrent behavior. You should get no benefit of the doubt from anyone, but you wouldn't know it from how Tackett reacted on air. Key point today, Reed had picked up his own ball before the official even arrived, asking the world to essentially trust him that there's something that stinks here. You tell me we got one of those little stink bugs. Oh boy. Those things are scent destroyers. I don't know where it is. I don't think it's around here, but if it is, it's offensively. Key point today, Reed had picked up his own ball before the official even arrived and essentially told the world to trust him that it had embedded to the definition of the rules. Sure, that makes a lot of sense. Not shady at all. Tackett did allow he got ahead of himself, but offered no other pushback. The actual official involved on the course also sort of had to just go on with what Reed was pushing as the narrative. CBS, though, had that replay of the ball bouncing originally, then softly landing nearby. It's hard to imagine that sort of landing resulting in an embedded ball. Surely, if the ground in that area was soft enough to allow it to happen, it would have just embedded when it landed from much higher up. Indeed, Reed notes himself that it didn't bounce when it clearly had. He might not have seen it bounce, sure, but if you're not sure, why would you pick up the ball from the embedded position? Interesting thought. CBS brought Tackett back in, and Nantz and Faldo pressed him on the video, demonstrating the ball bouncing. Even so, he stuck to most of his original analysis and certainly never mentioned potential cheating. When even a booth like Jim Nantz and Nick Faldo is aghast at what's unfolding, you know something is going wrong. Nantz clearly not buying what Tackett was selling, noting that it isn't a good look for anyone. I don't agree. Nantz, Faldo, Frank Nobilo, and others were clearly unhappy with how this played out. It was fascinating to watch the dynamic unfold of a new rules expert peddling a narrative that goes against what we were obviously seeing in service of defending a player who by now deserves no consideration. This wouldn't happen if CBS had gone with a more independent voice, but then again, it's possible they didn't have an option. The PGA Tour pushes a lot on broadcast partners, and given the control the players have over the organization and the players refusing to allow for anything that might paint them in an unflattering light, we got a glimpse of just how people like Reed can get away with things like this. And that's bad. There should be freedom. So, well, was something wrong? Call them out on it. All righty. Here we go. Here we go. The bracketologist of ESPN, Joe Lunardi, is not going anywhere. He's going to stick around. No. Now, Colin Cowherd. Well, he has a new podcast network. Maybe we can join it. Stop me if you heard this before. Prominent media personalities started a podcast network on Sunday. Colin Cowherd announced the launch of the Volume podcast network, anchored by a thrice weekly show hosted by Cowherd himself. In addition to Cowherd's new show with the incredibly original title of the Colin Cowherd podcast, Volume's launch lineup includes the following: Jenkins and Jones, a twice-weekly NBA-centric show hosted by Twitter personalities Les Jethro Jenkins and Dragonfly Jones. Catching Fades, a weekly NFL show hosted by former quarterback Aqib Talib. Oral Sessions, hosted by, of course, former WWE personality Renee Paquette. Moneyline Monaco, your obligatory gambling podcast, hosted by Alec Monaco. Crowley told Bloomberg that listeners would get the rawest, most authentic version of him on the new podcast. Yeah. We've heard, I think we've heard that once before, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Yes, we will. In time, boys and girls, in time. Let's see, anything else? Barcelona took legal action against a Spanish newspaper over Lionel Messi's contract leak. We have a sad passing to report. Longtime USA Today writer and Mason, MASN, Mid-America Sports Network analyst Mel Atonin passed away at the age of 64. Klay Thompson has once again proven that when he's done with basketball, he has a new role, and that's of broadcaster. He did another shining bit of work in his broadcasting during the Warriors' win over the Pistons. So if when he retires, he's got a job doing basketball. Find out, won't we? Basketball expert commentator. Okay, it is time to pick it up and pass it on. It's time for the scoreboard. By the way, I want to say hi to everybody on Facebook, Twitter, Gab Social, also Minds, also YouTube, also Instagram, TikTok, and every other social media outlet we have in this wild, wild world of ours. And it is time, as we said, for the scoreboard. We're going to bring it to you because we have hit the midpoint of the broadcast. We do so with pride. And here we go. Only one soccer game in the La Liga for Espanyol. It was Betis over Osasuna. 1-0. Betis wins. In basketball, in Italy, Liga A, Brindisi, 79-70 winner over Reggiana. And in baseball, mighty baseball, let's give you that excitement and that joy. You finally awoke. Okay, let's give you, we got only one game in progress in the North and Central America Caribbean Series, or Caribbean Series. Aguilas Cibanis. No. We go one. We go one more. No, one more box. There we go. Now we got it. Cuba Series National Playoffs. Industriales 10, Grima 3 in North and Central America Caribbean Series. Federales de Chiriquí over Camenas 9-5. What a way to make a living. Carrillos Caguas blanked Arizona Tigua 3-0. And the sixth inning, it's Aguilas Cibanis over Tomateros 1-0 in the sixth. And folks, believe it, come to the end of our broadcast. That's right, folks. Come to the end of our broadcast, and we hope you enjoyed each and every minute of it as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. And for all of us here on Sports Final, I want to thank you all very much. You have a very pleasant evening on the West Coast, morning here in the East. Don't forget, Groundhog. It's Groundhog Day. That means we're going to definitely be showing the Bill Murray classic, Groundhog Day. I don't know how many times, but it's going to be fun. The Butler did it. We'll talk to you tomorrow night, 11:35 p.m. right here on youtube.com/lugnets6. And we thank you very much for joining us on a sports show that's funny, if not done cheap for now. We got to go. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of the evening and morning. Go to bed, go to sleep. Tomorrow you'll feel better. This has been a presentation of Mystifying Creativity Productions in association with the L2C Media Network and L2C Sports and YouTube. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bam. Have a great one. I'm Steve, the Baxman Baxley, for the sleeping Uno, the mouse assassin, and my mom, Sharon Baxley, and everybody involved. Good night and blessings. We'll see you tomorrow night.